Hey, what's up guys? Brey-Krause here, and in this video I'm going to be installing this Recaro seat in my E92 M3 and retrofitting it to work with the stock power sliders. And as you may know, Recaro has three main types of race seats, and they're the pole position, which I personally think looks the best, but unfortunately the harness holes don't fit my shoulders. And then there's also the SPG, which is tighter fitting. And finally there is the SPG XL, which is what I ended up choosing because it fit me the best. Crazy thing is, shortly after I purchased the seat, the seller informed me that Recaro is issuing a recall for the SPG XLs made from 2017 to 2022, which is a huge bummer because it's probably going to take me a very long time before I get the replacement seat. So in the meantime, I'm just going to get this seat fitted. And I'm going to be pairing it with the mounts made by Brey-Krause shown here, which are pretty cool because they allow you to mount the seat to the stock power sliders. And I decided to go this route instead of getting the standard Recaro sliders because I saw a lot of negative feedback on its fitment on the E92. Plus, having power sliders on a race seat is just awesome, in my opinion. I'll leave the links to the mounting hardware used here in the description below if you're interested in checking it out. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this top piece because I don't need this. The only thing I need is a slider. So this connector here, and by the way, if you guys are just watching it to have fun, you can probably just skip ahead in this part because it's going to get pretty detailed. But for those of you guys who are doing the same thing, I think this is going to be really helpful. Basically, this seat came from an E90, and my understanding is there are very different variations of the harnesses from the seat bases. But this piece right here, if the camera will focus, is the main connector that goes into the yellow piece that's in the car. So if you look here, there is a thick red cable and also some thicker brown cables. Basically, you only need the red cable and one of these brown ones here. And I think these are reusable because you can just stick a flat blade screwdriver in there to release the connector and pull it out, which I'm going to do right now. But before I do that, since I'm already here, the other wires that you're going to need, obviously, because the only motor that you're going to keep is the slider motor, which is on the very bottom right here. This motor down here. So this motor has 4 wires coming out of it. Only the 2 thicker wires are the ones that you need. Basically, how the motor works is if it receives power from one wire, it's going to move forward. If it receives power from the other, it's going to move back. The other 2 wires, I think, are just ground or for memory purposes. So based on the instructions, we don't need to use these, but I'm just going to keep them here just in case. But for these, I cut the wire and I'm going to extend it. I bought some extra 14 gauge wire, and I'm going to join them together to extend it, to make it long enough to connect to the switch. Basically, you could just press down on it and that will just essentially release the wire and allow you to pull it out. Here's one. This is what it looks like. The red wire is the wire that provides power to the switch that we're going to connect it to, and we're going to use the brown wire as the ground. So I'm about to solder and extend the power wire. As you can see, this is the original red power wire. Same thing with the brown ground wire, and same thing with the 2 wires that are going to the motor. I'm just going to extend it so that's long enough to reach the switch. I picked up an E30 wind switch made by MTC, and this one doesn't have any light bulbs inside, but if you're using an original E30 switch, you might have to remove the light bulbs before installing. So I finally got everything wired up to the E30 switch. There was a little hiccup here because BK Auto and their kit, they provided very small connectors for 18 to 22 gauge, and I used 14 gauge wires based on the instruction. So obviously they didn't fit very well into the connectors, but luckily I had some spare extra connectors on my own, which I was able to use. So got those figured out. And I know the wiring looks very messy right now, but before I go ahead and tidy it all up, I'm going to test it to see if it actually works. Alright, so I got the seat rail in the car, got the power hooked up and everything. Let's test it out. Moment of truth. Oh, hey, it works. Woohoo! But looks like I got the wiring backwards on moving forward and backwards. As you can see, if I push back, it goes forward. If I push forward, it goes back. So I need to switch the wiring. Let me do that right now. All right, guys, so I finished the wiring and this is what it looks like. Sorry, it's not perfectly color coded, but this should help give you an idea of what it looks like. Alright, so I got everything bolted up. Got the sub belt mount, the lap belt mounts right here, along with a stock seat belt receptacle, because I'm going to be using a stock seat belt until I get my harness. And just out of curiosity, I want to see how much this thing weighs along with the seat. So I'm going to weigh it individually first. Alright, 16.8 pounds for the seat rail. 21.4 pounds according to my scale. This thing is 16.8 pounds, the seat is 21.4, comes out to be about 38.2 pounds. Let's just round it up to 39 because I didn't include the bolts to mount the seat. Alright guys, here is the final result. So I'm super happy with it. Power sliders work flawlessly. I got the stock seat belt routed through here. I'm just going to be using this temporarily until I get my harness. Fitment is really nice so far. I just sat in it. Probably going to take it out for a drive to figure out what the perfect height is, but so far this is the setting I have. I think this is the lowest I'm going to be able to go. So far feels really good. So next up, just going to be cleaning up a little bit of the interior, and then going to be putting in the roll cage and then the harnesses as well. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Like, subscribe, stay tuned for more. Peace.